Welcome everyone to The New Fly Fisher. I'm your host, Bill Spicer. On this episode, we're in Western Labrador, guest of Paul Ostiguy at McKenzie River Lodge. Our species for this week, brook trout, giant eastern brook trout, measured in pounds, not inches. We're going to use a number of different techniques for these fish, and we'll discuss each one as we go along. It's going to be another great one, folks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The giant eastern brook trout is a species of fish in the salmon family. In many parts it's known as the speckled trout or the square tail. Though commonly called a trout, the brook trout is actually a char, along with lake trout, bull trout, dolly varden, and arctic char. This fish is normally green colored with a distinctive marbled pattern on its back. The lower fins are reddish in color with white leading edges. Often the belly, particularly on the males, becomes very bright red or orange when the fish are spawning. These are truly one of Mother Nature's most beautiful fish. That's why we've come here to McKenzie River Fly Fishing Lodge, located 126 miles northeast of Labrador City. Accessible only by float plane, the lodge is located on Andre Lake at the head of the McKenzie River, which flows for over 30 miles before it empties into the Smallwood Reservoir. Our guides for this week are lodge owner Paul Ostiguy and one of his best guides, Bert Gillis. Also joining me is John Van Vliet, marketing manager for Scientific Anglers.
Okay, Paul, where would you want me to start here? We've come to this run. I have no idea where the fish are. Where do you want me to start?
Well, what we have here, this is the very first pool on the McKenzie River where it empties out of Andre Lake. And we're going to start fishing at the very beginning of the drop-off, which is about 30 feet away.
Now, the drop-off, I can see some rocks. The end of those rocks is the drop-off?
That's correct. It'll drop down to about 8 feet. And then I always think it's preferential to fish your way everywhere you go. So we are going to fish our way back to the back of the pool.
Okay. Now, how many casts before we take a step?
Just cover water, just like you would with Atlantic salmon. We want to cover all the water. We don't know exactly where they'll be, but they'll often be along the lip here, the rise. Okay. And when the fish are takers here, they will generally be, in Labrador, we find that they will move to the back of the pool where the current is bringing them food.
But you don't disregard the front of the pool. You try that first and work your way back. Okay.
You fish everywhere. Okay. Every little depression in the river can hold a fish.
Got him. That is outstanding. Paul, that is outstanding. You know what? I was just retrieving in the leech, dragging it along the surface, and he struck at it. So I put it back there again.
A different retrieve.
A different retrieve, and
something
on top,
that made it look injured. Oh, that's a good fish. That's a good fish.
It's a good fish.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to gain control.
Well done, Bill.
Trying to gain control, get the line on the reel.
Oh yeah, we got a good fish here. Oh yes, oh yes. What? Look at the colors on that.
Good fight, good fight. This is a 7-weight rod. Look how it's bent it over. These are nothing but muscle, these fish. They fight the current all their life.
At the same time that you're fighting that fish, you got a 4-pound brookie right behind you where you're breaking the current.
Oh yeah, right below. I can see him right there.
What a beautiful fish.
I'm gonna raise his head up as best I can. Look at the size of the fin. He's coming towards you. And put the dip net in, and away we go.
And we got him.
Got him, all right, outstanding, Paul.
Very typical for northwestern Labrador.
I'll get you to hold my rod. And this guy.
And here you go with your first McKenzie River brook trout. And it's a beauty.
Look at that, look at the coloring on them. They're starting to color up for spawn. This guy hit on top, just like a mouse pattern, which is outstanding.
It's a male?
It's a male.
Yeah.
Let's get him down in the water. And
excellent. Look at that. Excellent. No harm done. Huh?
Well,
you'll fight another day.
You weren't lying when you said you got some good brook trout here. My first brook trout, that was 3.5, 4 pounds. Not a bad way to start. I love it. This is great.
To make sure you get a spot at the dates you want for a fishing trip at McKenzie River Lodge, the best time to book would be in the fall, immediately after the fishing season. Say from October to Christmas before we start to do the fly fishing shows in the eastern United States.
We had 2 days worth of heavy rain and cold fronts moving through, and that put the fish off a little. One of the first things I do when this happens is to slow my presentation down. So I took off my streamer and set up with a nymphing rig.
Now, Paul, what I've done here, because we had to slow down our presentation, I chose a nymph setup and a normal trout nymph setup, actually. I got my indicator fairly close to my fly line. That's a control thing. You'll be able to lift your line up off the water and control better the rate that the indicator floats down without any drag. From there, I'm down about 4 to 5 feet to my split shot, the split shot right here. Now, you notice this is where I tied on my first tippet. I put the split shot ahead of the knot.
According to the depth of the water?
Yeah, I generally try to figure out how deep the water is. I know the water is about 4 feet deep here. I want this to get down almost to the bottom, okay? From there, I have my first, about 2 feet, I have my first nymph, which you told me there's some golden stones in here.
Absolutely.
So I figured the lightest fly I could that would imitate somewhat of the golden stone as an attractor, actually. They might bite it, but I think it's more to get their eye. And from there, another 18 inches down, my second fly, which is a caddis fly.
Yeah.
There's your attractor, there's your caddis.
You can see another fish right there. Right there.
Okay, I'm gonna
What's gonna be the rest of it?
Gonna fish upstream down, and what you gotta do there is you gotta strip in as you bring it back.
Absolutely, yeah.
And keep it as...
See the fish? It's going right near the fish.
Yeah.
You move towards it. Yeah.
Right there.
Got him.
Nymphing works for me. I've always loved it. I use it for trout. I use it for Pacific salmon. I've used it for brook trout. It's great.
You know, I've heard people say that there's no nymphing to be done in Labrador, but that's not true.
We
There's
just
nymphing
proved
to
it
be
wrong.
done. There's
I got an indicator and two nymphs.
Look at that beautiful fish. Look at the colors. Look at the colors of that fish. What a beauty. I'll start to move behind you.
You're gonna have to net him, because...
Oh, he's a dandy.
Yeah, watch yourself, Paul. Good man, good man.
Good job, Bill. It's a beauty.
Thank you, thank you. What I've had to do is, because we've had so much bad weather going through, I've had to slow down my presentation. I tried it stripping in streamers and leeches and that. Got one on the leech, but they seem to have turned off. So I slowed down my presentation to a nymph.
What a beautiful fish.
Beautiful, beautiful fish. Now, again, I'm going to get my white glove out.
Well done,
Excellent.
sir. Yeah.
The colors are unbelievable right now. And I'll get you to hold on to my rod.
Absolutely, with pleasure. What a pleasure.
Lovely, lovely fish. Again, slowing down my presentation. These fish are very inactive right now because of the bad weather we've had. We've had storm after storm go through in the last 12 hours. We've had about 15 millimeters of rain, which is quite a lot of rain. But the nice thing about Labrador, we've had that much rain, but it didn't dirty the water up at all. The fish are still here, but you have to slow it down. They're not chasing anything right now.
Adjust your tactics to the conditions.
Exactly.
To the conditions. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Double taper fly line is very good for spring creek situations, for delicate presentations of smaller dry flies, for roll casting when you may not have a lot of room behind you. A weight forward fly line is better for larger flies, for faster action rods, for situations like we've encountered here in Labrador with a lot of wind, a lot of big flies. But really both can do a lot of things well, and a lot of it comes down to personal preference.
There's where I want to be.
Excellent cast. Go, good hit. Nice, nice, well done.
Oh yeah, that one actually swirled on it.
Isn't this a beautiful pool?
Let's get her on the reel.
That looks like a good fish. That looks like a good fish.
We found him. We found him.
Now this is one of my favorite pools on the river. I love bringing guests here. Just love it.
I'll raise his head up.
Yeah, gotta try and get behind him. That's a nicer fish. That's our best fish of the day.
Excellent, Paul, excellent.
Good job.
Get my glove out. Oh yeah.
On the mixed sculpin.
On the mixed sculpin. That's a good one.
We seem to be getting better and better.
Yep. Can you just hold on to the rod there,
yes,
Paul,
sir.
please?
Be a pleasure. Look at that. Look at that. That
Look at how
is
thick
a
that one is now.
beautiful Labrador brook trout.
And look at the colors. They're starting into their spawning season. This is late July, almost August. And
it's a beautiful fish.
they're starting to color up for the spawn.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Away he goes.
Beautiful. Well done. Well done. Mid-season on the McKenzie. It's all about water temperature. When the river water temperature hits about 52 Fahrenheit, the lake trout will migrate back into the depths of the lake and it becomes essentially a brook trout fishery. We will be fishing for brook trout. This will be from, say, the second week of July through to the first week of August, catching good numbers of brook trout as they're feeding with an occasional landlocked salmon.
The cabins at McKenzie River Lodge are clean and comfortable. All bed linen and towels are supplied. Each cabin has full washroom facilities, including shower. The cabins are tight against insect intrusion and offer the time-proven sporting camp feeling that appeals to the traveling angler. Boardwalks connect all the cabins to the cook lodge, the docks, and to each other.
One of the most wonderful experiences of spending time in a fishing camp is the discussions or the storytelling at supper at the end of the day. We make a point of having the guides eat with the guests, and everyone just goes over what happens in the day. It just adds to the whole experience and creates camaraderie and sometimes friends for life.
One of the best things about coming to McKenzie River is, at the end of the day, when you trade fish stories with all the other anglers. And one thing you do find out is techniques that you never thought about and that were proved successful the day before. So I'm going to try one, and what I'm going to do is quarter down and let the fly start to swing, but all I'm going to do is jerk the end of the rod to twitch it a bit till it comes out of the swing, and then I start retrieving it. So as long as it's swinging in the current, I'm going to twitch the end of the rod, and it's done like this. Now I'm swinging, and as it goes, I'm just twitching the end of the rod, like that. Let it swing completely out. Right through the main run, just twitch the end of the rod like that. Now, as it straightens out, this is where I begin to bring it back in. Let's see if that works. Fish on.
Fish on! Good stuff.
Right at the end of the swing, right at the end of the swing. I wasn't doing anything other than letting it swing and pumping it a little bit like I just instructed you on camera. I was just pumping it. Let's get a little side pressure, see if I can get him over. Yeah, little side pressure will pull him over.
I'm gonna get behind.
Yeah, he's coming up quick.
Not in the way.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna lift him up. Oh, it is a nice fish. Whoa.
Oh, it's a beauty.
It's a beauty.
You're gonna like this.
I'm gonna get his head up.
This beauty.
Outstanding, my friend, outstanding. You had him in the scissors of the jaw.
Barbless hook.
I can get you, sir. Oh yeah. Look at the colors on this. This is really quite exciting. Look at that. Look at that fish. Oh my goodness. Get your Kodak moment, and then you let them go. For the most part, when you're coming to McKenzie River, you're catching brook trout. So a number 6 weight, 9 foot rod will do. Whether it's mid flex or tip flex, doesn't really matter. You're usually throwing floating lines. But we do run into some wind. So bring along a number 8 weight, 9-foot rod. When dealing with wind and dealing with some of the bigger flies, that's what you need that for. Now reels, large arbor. As you can see right here, you need something with a good drag system, because if you get into a Wananiche, they're going to really test your equipment. On lines, for the most part, a floating line will do you. I recommend a steelhead taper with a longer belly, because you got some long casts to make here. I would bring along some poly leaders or sinking leaders, because there are some deeper holes where you want to get it down. But for the most part, a floating line will do you.
Number 1 rule, watch your feet.
Ah, there we go. Fish on.
Back in a sec, Bill.
Okay, go.
I gotta run.
Don't give him a hand.
Good job, John. What'd you getting on? A double D? Take your time now. Be firm, but not too aggressive. Just enjoy that. Okay, I'm gonna get slightly below you. You keep doing what you're doing. Good job, sir. I've got to say that mastery textured line that you were showing me earlier this week, I find that makes the little bit of exposure I've had to the line, it makes a big difference. Really great line control with the hands.
A little bit more control with it on your hands.
A lot better line control with the texture, without having the difficulties of the shark skin diamond texture. Take your time now, take your time. Excellent, Skipper. Nice fish.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, John.
All right, let's get him out of the net here.
That's a lovely trout, sir. One hand, slide a hand under his belly. Let the folks at home enjoy that.
What a beautiful Labrador brook trout. There you go.
Now, what I'm going to do, we got a pretty steady flow here. I'm just going to cast it out, let it start to swing, and like I showed you earlier, I'm just going to pulsate it until I get down to the end and then strip it back.
Fish on.
This is a good fish. This is a very good fish.
Good fish, and it's a hard place to fight them because there's a lot more current than what it looks like.
Yep. That's a big fish. This is a big fish.
Yeah, I saw its back. It's a good fish.
I seen its back, yeah.
I've seen fish, tremendous fish lost in this pool because the equipment wasn't heavy enough to hold them from going down the rapid.
Putting the big C in the rod, that acts like a shock absorber. If I drop the rod and it straightens out, you're likely going to break the fish off.
They game fighters or what?
Whoa, sheer power. And when they hit, they're hitting to kill. Okay, Paul, I'm going to try to get her over. Side pressure. Then I'm going to drop her back to you.
So you always want to net a fish from below.
From below, yes. That's a good, oh yeah, that's a good fish. I got her head up. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. What a brute. Look at that. Look at that. Nothing better than eastern brook trout in Labrador. My goodness, look at that. The colors on it are unbelievable. Let's get him back in.
The strength of these wild fish.
Yes. And away he goes.
Standard flies such as orange bombers work real well. But McKenzie River Lodge has some in-house flies that were created for their own waters. These flies are Gillis's articulated mole, the mixed sculpin, and the DW Special. Guides will always have these on hand.
Keep up that tip.
Yes, sir, we were due.
What was that on?
Orange bomber. He's not ready yet. Though I think it's a she. Crazy fish. Hope that rod is good.
Underwater salmon.
They don't like the net. This is excellent. See, I don't want to get too close to him.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's the epitome of coming to McKenzie River. The landlocked salmon or Wananiche, they are outstanding. Let's let this one go. Outstanding, and away it goes, away it goes. I highly recommend that you call Paul and come to McKenzie River for the most exciting fishing you're ever gonna have in your entire life. For more information on this show and others in our series, visit us on the web at thenewflyfisher.com. From all of us here at The New Fly Fisher, thanks for joining us. Tight lines, we'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Mark Melnick from the New Fly Fisher television show. If you enjoyed that video, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe today. Also, we're uploading new videos all the time, so hit the bell to be notified when the next one goes up.